The medical bay of Station Kepler 9 smelled of sterile antiseptics and fear. Dr. Elena Ward pushed through the crowd of Valorian medics, their chitinous exoskeletons clicking nervously as they backed away from the operating table. On the cold metal surface lay something that made even her pause. Rancor was dying. The creature was massive, easily 3 meters from snout to tail, with midnight black fur streaked with bioluminescent blue markings that pulsed weakly with each labored breath. 6 legs, each ending in retractable claws the size of combat knives, twitched sporadically. Its triple-jawed maw hung open, revealing rows of serrated teeth designed for one purpose: efficient killing. Blood, dark purple and viscous, pooled beneath its body, dripping steadily onto the floor. "Step back, human," hissed Chief Medic Zalthar, his compound eyes reflecting Elena's image 1,000 times over. "That is a void reaver, an apex predator from the contested zones. It cannot be saved, and it should not be saved." Elena's green eyes fixed on the dying creature. Rancor's breathing was shallow, rattling. A deep gash across its thorax exposed bone and internal organs she couldn't identify. The wound was clearly from an explosive decompression. Shrapnel from the recent pirate attack on the station had torn through the cargo hold where Rancor had been kept in containment. "It's dying," Elena said simply, rolling up her sleeves. "Exactly," Zalthar clicked. "Void reavers have killed more sentient beings than any plague in known space. They are weapons, not patients. High Staff refuses to risk their lives for a creature that would gladly devour them." Elena looked around at the dozen Valorian medics, all pressed against the walls, their healing instruments abandoned on trays. She understood their fear. Humanity had its own legends of monsters: wolves, bears, sharks, predators that haunted ancestral memories. But humanity had also learned something these advanced species apparently hadn't. "I can save it," Elena declared, stepping to the table. The room erupted in chittering protests. Zalthar's antennae flattened against his skull. "You are insane. That creature will wake during surgery and kill you. Our sedatives don't work on their biology. Their pain response triggers a berserker state. This is suicide." Elena was already scanning Rancor's vital signs with her handheld medical scanner. Heart rate, hearts plural, she noted, were failing. Internal bleeding. Organ damage. Minutes left, maybe less. She pulled on surgical gloves with practiced efficiency. "Then leave," she said calmly. "I don't need an audience." No one moved. The Valorians watched with horrified fascination as the human medic began working. Elena's hands moved with surgical precision. She couldn't use conventional Valorian healing tech. It wasn't calibrated for Rancor's biology. Instead, she relied on something older: her training, her instincts, and humanity's 10,000 years of veterinary medicine. Because that's what this was, she realized. Not so different from the wolves Earth had once hunted, then domesticated, then loved. She spoke softly as she worked, her voice low and steady. "Easy, Rancor. I know you're scared. I know you're in pain. But I've got you." The Void Reaver's eyes, 6 of them arranged in pairs across its angular skull, flickered open. They were gold, shot through with vertical pupils that contracted as they focused on Elena. A rumble built in its chest, a sound that vibrated through the floor plating. Zalthar made a strangled sound. "It's waking. Human, move away." "Shh," Elena whispered, not to Zalthar, but to Rancor. Her hand, still slick with purple blood, moved to rest gently on the creature's massive head just behind its sensory quills. "You're okay. I'm here to help." Something impossible happened. Rancor's rumbling stopped. The gold eyes blinked slowly, then the third eyelid slid across them, a sign of submission in many Earth predators. The creature's breathing steadied slightly, as if it understood, as if it trusted. Elena worked for 47 minutes straight. She used synthetic tissue grafts from the emergency supplies, human surgical techniques adapted on the fly, and every bit of knowledge she'd accumulated treating everything from Terran tigers to Martian sand dragons during her years in xenobiology. She narrated each step in that same soft, calm voice, as if explaining the procedure to a nervous patient. The Valorian medics slowly crept closer, fascinated despite themselves. They watched as the human did the impossible, stabilizing a creature that should have torn her apart the moment consciousness returned. They saw her suture wounds with steady hands while Rancor lay docile, occasionally whimpering but never attacking. When Elena finally stepped back, exhausted and covered in purple blood, Rancor's breathing was strong and even. The biomonitor showed stable vital signs. The Void Reaver would survive. Zalthar approached hesitantly, his antennae quivering. How did you keep it calm? Our research says it's impossible. They are pure instinct, pure predator. Aelina peeled off her gloves, a tired smile on her face. That's where you're wrong, Chief. Predators aren't mindless killing machines. They're survivors. They understand when something is trying to help versus harm. She looked down at Rakor, whose eyes had closed peacefully. Humans learned that thousands of years ago. We turned wolves into dogs. We partnered with horses, falcons, even dolphins. We learned that predators respect courage and respond to compassion. She placed her hand on Rakor's head again, stroking gently. Every predator understands two things, strength and kindness. I showed both. I showed I wasn't afraid, and I showed I meant no harm. This is, Zalthar struggled for words, unprecedented. Aelina laughed softly. Maybe for you. But humans have always had a weird relationship with things that could kill us. We don't just fear them. We try to understand them, befriend them, save them. As if in response, Rakor's tail twitched, curling slightly toward Elena's leg, the first gesture of trust. The Valorian medics chittered among themselves, their worldview fundamentally shaken. In the medical bay of Station Kepler 9, a human had done what no other species dared, shown mercy to a monster and proven that compassion, not fear, was the sharpest tool in any healer's arsenal. Dr. Elena Ward sat down heavily in a nearby chair, exhaustion finally hitting her. Rakor slept peacefully on the table, alive against all odds. Sometimes being human meant being crazy enough to save the things that terrified everyone else, and sometimes that made all the difference.